Hey guys, Reserving here. First off, I apologize a bit for the delays in videos. One of them wouldn't transfer from Twitch, so I'm going to try it again now. And one, my computer crashed as soon as it uploaded. Thankfully, it did upload eventually. And I just noticed, when did you fall out? There we go. Um, but I'll be back on track soon. At some point this week, I'm continuing Life is Strange, especially since I ended at a horrible spot that I really wish I. Oh, I, I refuse to look up what I did wrong, but oh, I was so sure I could save her. Um, anyway, going to be doing a bit of review today. I've gotten the Legacy Power Rangers movie figures, 2017 movie, just in case they do decide to do Legacy of the original movie versions. Like the other parts in the Legacy line currently, it does come with a buildable figure Megazord. But first, we'll take a look at each of the individual figures. First up is Alpha 5. Um, he's obviously different to our classic Alpha 5, and I do not have a figure to compare to. Sorry. I'll probably eventually get that in now packs, and I'll do that. But right now, this is what we have. He's Alpha, more or less. He's a different take, but you can see that there are similarities. He's got the saucer head, glowing eyes, and red on the body. Basically, if the body was gold, it would look more like Alpha than what it does, but still very close while still being its own take. Does have a large range of movability. Got the elbows, the shoulders, ankles, wrists, knees. Can move the legs back and forth like this. He doesn't have quite as much posability as the Rangers, but he's still got a decent amount. The head can move. I honestly think he's one of the better figures due to the fact that he has less posability, but that's a personal preference. You can see he's got the diamond design on him, which is definitely a recurring theme with this series, with this movie, I mean. There's also something interesting I noticed about the Megazord that I'll get to when I get to that. Um, and I'm just going to show all the male figures together and the two female figures together, just due to the fact that they share molds except for the heads. So there's no real reason to go into any more than that. So we have the three male rangers. I will do a close up so you can see their visors. There's Jason, who is probably the closest to his original. Don't know where that light's coming from, but it's actually making it look like there's an eyeball there where there isn't. Billy. Billy's probably the hardest to see where it comes from, but it is there. If you look, you can see the Triceratops. And Zack, who do not have good lighting for because I chose a stupid spot to do this. Anyways, I'm going to use Jason as the base for the posability stuff, mainly because he's the only one that comes with a weapon. He comes with what I think is being called the Tower Power Sword in the toy line. Sorry, I said Tower. It's because I'm playing Zelda. Uh, and I did rescue Epona, by the way. I got her registered. So he comes with the Power Sword, which he refuses to hold the way it's shown in the trailers, because I'm pretty sure that from what we've seen in the trailers, his hand becomes the sword, and not that he holds on to it. And the toy does try to replicate that, but he likes to drop it a bit, as you can see here. So arm can move all the way around. Got elbow joint, which is a bit stiff on him actually. Oh, I actually did not notice that there's a ratchet there. That's why I don't like ratchets. They wear out. Just use a normal joint. And wrist rotation. By the way, any of the figures can hold the power sword. I have had the girls hold it. Uh, so if you want to change it up, you can do that. But obviously, it goes with him because of the red. He's got large knee rotation. You can see it bends at both parts of the knee, which is where I don't like this a bit. I feel like it would have been better if it just bent like this. While it's neat you can do a pose like this, it's not really necessary. And you've got full ankle rotation, which for some reason does not work well on Trini, and Trini's the only one I've had an issue with that. um, so they so all the guys do have the same chest details and leg details and back details. So take a look at them. You can see the diamonds on the spine, what's kind of muscly shoulder. Honestly, on Jason, due to the red, it reminds me a lot of Lord Zed, and I'm wondering if that's intentional. With the silver kind of muscly stuff, and the red base that appears to be a second skin in this movie, from what I've seen so far. Obviously, we don't know for sure. You can see he's got the morpher there. Uh, so yeah, again, I'm really curious what's catching that light. Because it almost makes it look like it has the eyes that the original visor had, but it doesn't have that. It's just catching the light. So again, all the guys have the exact same posability. I do like the figure. It's just that I feel like the knees hurt it a bit. It's a neat idea to have, but it just doesn't work out that well. It would have been better just to have the knee as the leg guard and then just bend it there. Oh, and of course you can move the head all the way around. Tilt it up, tilt it down. Was not trying to rhyme, but I did. So we have the guy rangers. We of course have the girl rangers. Uh, Maya's a potential ranger. So here we have Trini and Kimberly, and let's just get views of them there. Their helmets. There's Kimberly, and there's Trini. Trini again is a bit closer than Kimberly in design to the original helmet. Mainly because I think the saber tooth lends itself well to that, and I am sorry about that. They have pretty much the same posability as the guys do. arm can move all the way around if it'll let me. They actually have a bit more posability because they have the swivel here, which I don't think the guys do. I'll have to check on that. Yeah, they actually have slightly more posability because they can swivel their arm here as well as up here. They have wrist rotation, ankle rotation, which I'm not going to go too much into because on training it got skewed somehow. I'm sure I can fix it. It's just that I don't know what I did in the first place at the moment. Head all the way around. Oh, I forgot to show this on the guys. Waist all the way around. See, the waist rotation I like and would kind of like that to be added to basic figures, but the other stuff I think doesn't really need it. Again, it would be fine if it was just this. It doesn't need to go up all the way. And they basically have the same details as the guys on them. It's just that for the girls, they have a more slender frame, bigger butts for some reason. This is the one part that kind of weirds me out with the girl figures. It's almost the centaur thing, where it gets kind of creepy. In this case, it is an actual way the spine works. It's just the butts are so big that it's kind of weird. Oh, and they do have a ab swivel or ab crunch or whatever you call it. But yeah, so there's this how it is on the girls. Uh, there's how it is on the. Will you get your arm out of the way? There's how it is on the guys. It's actually the same curve, but on the girls there's a larger butt. But detail-wise, everything's basically the same. You've got the chest diamond. You've got the kind of belt thing. Don't really know what to call it. You got the metally armor bone muscle thing that again reminds me of Lord Zed. Of course, you had the face plates, which I didn't mention on the guys. The spine on the back. Overall, I do really like these figures. There's just some things that I'm a bit weirded out by. And again, they came with a buildable parts for a buildable figure. Kimberly came with wings for the Megazord. Alpha came with the torso and head. Uh, I believe, yeah, Jason and Trini both came with an arm. I can't remember which came with which. Zach and Billy both came with a leg. This one I do remember. Billy is left, Zach is right. Uh, oh no, Billy is right, Zach is left. I had that backwards to match up with this Megazord. What's interesting is I can see some more of how the transformation works in the movie with this. And yeah, it definitely cheats, but it's actually really impressive how close Bandai got with the buildable Megazord. Uh, so it looks to me like the Triceratops and Mastodon split in half and become the feet, and then the Triceratops head also becomes the knee pads here, based on what I can see. Possibly both do. But I can definitely make out the Triceratops on it, on the knees. You can see where feet become knee pads here, and you can actually make that out that detail on this Megazord here. So again, very impressive how much they're able to do. Um, I am going to try to find some way to paint this to make it closer to this. but I don't know what paint to use yet. I need to do some research on that. Uh, Obviously, the Sabretooth is the easiest thing to make out. You can see bits of the T-Rex at the top, and of course the chest we know is made from the T-Rex. Turn around, there's still a bunch of details. We've got a spine down the back. You can see the details on the wings. And if you want it to look like the wings are folded off, folded down, or just not there, you can do that. Get a simple, basic Megazord without wings. Now, the interesting thing I noticed on this, I'm hoping I can show this on camera. Let's see here. Uh, yeah, it actually does show up. You can see down here are what appear to be feathers, which I am very happy with. Dinosaurs, there should be feathers there somewhere. And there definitely do appear to be feathers. Obviously, it's part of the armor, but it's not just a diamond pattern like we see everywhere else. Again, a spine detail on the back there, diamond pattern on the arms. You can see a cannon on the one arm, on both arms. In the fist, I'm sure it has a sword in the movie. It doesn't come with a sword here. The fists are closed. It can't hold any swords. Uh, the head detail is what I really like, though. That is really beautiful. So once it's together, you've got the head can rotate 360 degrees, so it is a bit of a push after the 180 mark. Uh, or rather, after you turn it 90 degrees to either side. You can move the legs a little bit, enough to do that you can do a little bit of a split. You've got the knees, the feet. I think the feet do rotate. I believe the wrists do not, but I need to check on that. Yeah, no, the wrists do not rotate, but you've got enough shoulder. Whoops. That's not a problem with the figure. That's me applying too much pressure. You do get a decent amount of shoulder with it, rotation with it, even with the wings, which are only coming off because I took them off to show that earlier. Again, entirely me, not the figure. Of course, you can see the different cockpits, or what I assume to be cockpits anyway. We'll find out for sure once the actual movie hits. Uh, Unlike the Rangers, no waist rotation, which is fine by me. Though it would be nice, I can understand why they didn't do it on this one. If you're going to pick up any of the Legacy line with the buildable Megazord figures, I do recommend these figures, by the way. I don't have anything else in that line, just this, because I tend to prefer the basic figures. Um, but getting this tiny Megazord alone makes it worth it for me. Now, be aware they are, I think, $20 each. So there's 6 figures there. You're paying $120 for this. Um, my mom got these because they were on sale last week at Toys R Us. That's why I was able to have this. But I really do like the figures. I just have some issues with some of the places they chose to put joints. Um, Alpha and Trini are the only ones who refuse to stay standing. Every once in a while, Billy falls, but not that often. It's just Alpha and Trini who are consistently falling, and I'm not sure why. Uh, Alpha I kind of understand, but Trini I'm not sure why, because she should be standing the same as Kimberly. I don't know if there's some extra weight in the helmet or something that's making her fall, uh, but something's doing it. Like I said, recommend these figures if you can afford them. Uh, I do personally still want to get the Zendao packs. Um, and that's basically it for now. So I'll see you guys later, and I'm going to take this call as soon as I figure out where my mouse is.